Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back. This is U.S. Home Talk. We're live every Wednesday at noon Central Standard Time. You can find us on all of the streaming platforms, of course. Most, I think, of the folks that tune into the show are catching us later in the week. We appreciate however it is that you find us, whether it's live or later on our streaming platforms. Excited for the show today. We'll be talking about credit stuff, credit truths and myths, which is kind of hard to say. Say that 10 times and we'll see how that turns out.
Truths. I just changed it to an F. Truths and myths.
Truths.
It's easier to say that way.
Jason Walgrave here with Walgrave Real Estate Group and the Minnesota Real Estate Team at RE/MAX Advantage Plus. We've got the great mortgage Michael Overson with Luminate Home Loans. We've got Evan, the great producer / insurance guru. Marcus is off today. I think he's at, what is he on, some board or South Dakota board something?
South Dakota real estate board meeting thing.
He's in sunny Pierre, South Dakota.
Is he? Is that where he's at?
Enjoying the weather. Pierre, yeah. That's where he's at.
Nice. It's sunny out today. So I feel like there's been about 1/2 sunny days in the last month. It feels like it's been pretty gray lately.
It has been gray, but it's been warm. Would you? So here's the thing: would you rather have sunny and cold, or would you rather have gray and warm?
Oh, sunny and cold.
Yeah.
Yep.
You would?
Give me sunny and cold. I mean, I like the different seasons in Minnesota. So, I mean, it's great that it's warm out. But I don't mind the cold. I don't care for the frigid cold. 20 below with windshield. That I don't care for. But I like the cold. I'd rather have cold and sunny.
Okay. Interesting.
How about yourself?
You know me, I like the cold. The colder the better. Give me some ice so I can get my ice house out there. This year is a complete bust for that. I'm very disappointed. I mean, I almost started crying last weekend. I'm looking at the forecast, and it's not going to get cold enough to get our ice houses out back on the lake this year. I think we had a 2-day run, and that was it. And I'm in a deep depression about it.
Well, that along with your run of illness last week, which also was a double sad deal for you, because not only were you sick, second sickest you've ever been in your life, from what you tell us, but you also didn't get to go on your annual guys ice fishing trip up north.
Yeah. 16 of us go up north every year on the Canada-Minnesota border and go ice fishing up there. And because I got sick, I missed that trip this year. And so I'm just itching, right? I'm just, my fishing hand is like this right now. It's like, I gotta set the hook on something. So we'll see. I mean, we can still walk on the lake and fish outside. It's nice enough out. It's like, you don't really need an ice house because it's not cold out.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe I can get some bucket fishing coming up here.
Go put some buckets out there, drill some holes, and catch something.
Yep.
All right, folks, we got a big show planned today. Again, we're talking about credit. Best way to get a hold of us anytime during the week is of our fantastic website, ushometalk.com. We've got all of our great partners on there. You can connect directly with Mike, myself, Marcus, Evan. We've got all of our past shows on there. We've got a lot of really great real estate resources. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing in real estate, you have questions about financing, refinancing, credit, maybe you're interested in commercial real estate or new construction, ushometalk.com is the resource for all things real estate and is the home of all of our shows. ushometalk.com. Be sure to check it out. We've got a real estate hotline number, and during the show, it is our text in line for questions. So if you have questions during the show, certainly feel free to ask those in the comment section on Facebook and YouTube. But if you'd like to send those questions in via text, that text number is 612-234-7585. The text line for questions during the show is 612-234-7585. And folks, you can text that number anytime during the week. We'll get your questions answered. You can call that number. It's our 24-hour real estate hotline number. And whether you're looking for Mike, myself, Marcus, or Evan, or any of our fantastic partners, we'll get you in contact with them right away. So keep that number handy and available, 612-234-7585. And of course, be sure to check out our website, ushometalk.com. All right, today we're going to be talking about credit and how important it is. We know, I think just about everybody knows how important credit is. It's especially important in real estate if you need a mortgage or you want a mortgage. Many of our clients, even the ones that have the ability to pay all cash for their real estate purchases, they will also choose financing as an option. They talk to financial planners. They take a look at the rates. They find out, well, what is my money making? Does it make more sense? Is the rate less than the amount of money that I'm making in stocks, for example? Maybe they're going to finance. Maybe they need a mortgage. Your credit score is key to not only getting the mortgage, but having the most options, the best rates, the best terms, the lowest mortgage insurance, if that's something that you need with your mortgage. Your credit score, your credit is so very, very important. And it spans way beyond mortgages. Your employment. Some employers are looking at credit scores. Your credit is tied to so many things in life. And we're going to talk about some truths and myths when you're talking about credit score today. Mike, I'd love all the answers to these. So we're going to go through them, and I'd love to hear from you whether it's a truth or a myth. First, we're going to talk about credit reports aren't always accurate. Is that a truth or a myth?
That is truth.
That is
the truth.
That is the truth. You can't
credit reports. To be honest with you, I almost want to say they're rarely 100% accurate. That's probably a true statement as well. They are rarely 100% accurate. And the reason why is because the reporting that goes on your credit report is done by anyone that you've had your credit pulled by, anyone you've opened an account with, this or that. Okay. There's humans, right? There's humans typing in your date of birth and your social security number and typing in your address and stuff. So what happens with that stuff? Sometimes they fat finger a key, right? And they pull in someone else's information on your credit report because they put in the wrong social. They missed one of the numbers or something. That actually happened to me back in 2006. Pulled my credit report and there's 17 accounts that aren't mine showing up on my credit report, and they all have late and missing payments on it. I'm like, what in the heck is going on here? So obviously I had to go through the process to figure out what the scoop was. This other person's accounts, he had the same first name, same middle name, completely different last name, but our social security numbers were only one off. And so when someone was typing in the numbers, our names got linked together. His accounts got linked to mine because they mistyped the social security number. Now I have 17 accounts showing up that weren't mine. So just know that humans are entering this information in. Humans make mistakes. That's why there's mistakes being on your credit reported on your credit report. It's up to you to check your credit every now and then to make sure that the information on it is accurate.
80% of credit reports have a big error or mistake on it. 80%. I think credit monitoring services are valuable. I've got one that monitors my credit, everything from inquiries to increase and decrease in usage. I get a monthly report with an entire credit report and then the different scores. Mike, you're absolutely right. You are responsible for your credit, keeping track of what's in your credit. No one's going to do it for you. There's some great services out there. I think I pay like $29 a month. But it's a wonderful peace of mind. And no one's going to do it for you. So,
Right.
So make sure you're keeping an eye on what's on your credit report. Here's a truth or myth, Mike. Pulling your credit score will lower it.
Well, I'm going to say it's a truth if you're talking about a hard inquiry. I'm going to say it's a myth if it's a soft inquiry.
Exactly. That
is
the right
answer.
answer.
About there?
That is yep. Soft pull done by yourself for personal reasons. It has zero effect. But the hard inquiry, when a lender pulls. So, for example, Mike, if someone's going to buy a house and they need to apply for a mortgage, they're going to go to a mortgage company. Mortgage company is going to take their application. They're going to pull credit. How much does that generally affect your credit score when lender A pulls the credit?
5 to 15 points is what they say, is what a hard inquiry will drop your score by.
Okay. And is there a time frame where multiple lenders can pull your credit without having additional 5 to 15 point deductions?
Yep. So there's a 14-day window. So when lender number one pulls your credit, you have a 14-day window to have as many other mortgage lenders pull your credit as you want, and it does not affect your score for those subsequent pulls. Okay, so you could literally have 100 mortgage companies pull your credit within that 14-day window, and only the first one will drop your score. Once you get past the 14 days, then each subsequent pull from there will drop your score further.
Got it. So it's important, folks, to realize you do have you've got a window where there can be multiple hard inquiries on your credit, but it is going to affect it somewhere between 5 and 15 points. Lenders, I mean, Mike, do you know of any lenders out there that will issue a pre-approval without a hard inquiry?
No,
I don't
you
either.
can't. No, because we do have the option to do a soft pull, a soft credit pull on our end, which
Sure.
is kind of nice in some certain cases, right? But I can't issue a pre-approval letter. It's like, hey, I want to, make an offer in this house, but I don't want you to pull credit. I don't want any dings on my credit. I don't want you to pull credit, but I want to make an offer. Sorry, I can't do that. I can do a soft pull, and based on that soft pull, I can give you my best guess as to what type of interest rate you would have. I can give you my best guess as would you be approved or not. So I can get pretty dang close, because I've done this long enough where give me the information on soft pull, I can tell you pretty much how it's going to work out on a hard pull, but I can't issue a pre-approval letter off it. There's nothing I can guarantee you with the soft pull. So hard pull is going to be required to make an offer.
So if you do a soft pull, Mike, and let's say you do a soft pull and their credit score is right at the minimum for whatever program that they're looking at, what do you do then? I mean, what's if doing the hard pull is going to drop their score? Let's say they're right at the number, the minimum credit score required to get a loan or any loan. Then kind of what's the plan? What do we do from there?
Well, if they want to make an offer, there's only one thing you do. You do the hard pull and you cross your fingers.
Yeah.
Right.
But you've done an excellent job over the years, Mike, to help folks increase their credit score. And so there's things that you can do, whether it's reducing debt or making your payments on different days. There's things that you can do to increase that score, anywhere from 10 to 80, 90 points, just depending on what you do.
Yeah. So if they want to make an offer now, they found a house, they got to lock this house down. It's the dream home they got to do. They want to make an offer. There's only one choice. You do the hard pull, you cross your fingers. Hopefully everything goes through, you get them approved, and you send that pre-approval letter. If they're just in the pre-approval stage, it's like, look, we don't have a specific house. We just want to get lined up. Great.
Yep.
If we do the soft pull and you're right on the line, that's when I say, okay, here's what you need to do over the next 30 days. So that we're not riding this line anymore. We want to get a cushion and we want to get your score up so we don't have to be worried about, your score coming in too low when we do the hard pull. And that's when we put the plan together. And sometimes it's as easy as just changing your payment habits. Like you said, I mean, I've taken people with credit scores at 587 and got them up to 712 simply by just changing the date that they make payments on certain accounts.
Sure. So an example of that would be is, let's say you use a credit card. You use it every month. Every month you pay it off. So you're not ever paying any interest. You pay off the full balance every month. But let's say you've got a $2,000 limit and you charge that bad boy up to $1,900 every month. You're thinking, well, what difference does it make? I pay it off every month. I'm just doing it because I want the points or whatever the reason is. Well, the problem is when by the time you get that statement in the mail, the bank has already submitted the information to the credit bureaus. So it appears that you're sitting at an $1,800 or $1,900 balance on a $2,000 limit, which is 90 to 95% of the borrowing of your limit, which is going to, significantly drive your credit score down. So
Right.
by paying that before the statement goes out, before they report it to the credit bureaus, that can significantly, in a positive way, impact your credit.
Absolutely. What if you took that same $1,900 balance and you spread it out among 4 cards versus putting it all on one card?
That's a great question.
Even that's better too, because
Yep.
it's going to look they're going to look at each card and say, this card is charged up 90%. Okay, we're going to hit your score for that 90% balance that you're carrying.
Yep.
Right. And so if you can take a 90% card right? Take that balance and spread it out amongst 4 or 5 cards where now each card is only charged up 20%. They're going to look at it and be like, oh, you don't have any cards that are charged up more than 20% here.
Yep.
Credit's great. There you go.
Yep.
Here's your high score. As soon as you get one card that runs all the way up there to 90 to 95%, credit score goes down because it's like, nope, that's risky. You almost got that thing maxed out. That's risky. We're going to hit your score for it.
Well, and you will have a higher credit score if you're using 4 accounts. So let's take this strategy. Instead of using 1 card, you use 4 cards. You still pay it before the statement goes out, before it gets reported. So now you've got a history of using 4 cards. It's going to positively affect your credit.
Yeah. Yeah, the more cards you can have open with good positive history on there, the better.
Yep.
Because those cards and that history on each card is going to build your score.
Yes.
So it's better, if someone might come to me and be like, they might have 1 account open. They might have 1 credit card open. Their entire score is based off the activity and the history on that 1 card, right? So you make 1 mistake on that credit card, you miss 1 payment, you have 1 month where the balance, is high and it carries over to the next month. Your score is going to go down big because of it, because that's literally the only information that they have to generate a score off you from.
Yep.
If you have other accounts, right, now you have these other ones that soften the blow and can offset the activity that's on the other card. And so we always recommend 3 to 5 credit cards, and then whatever other finance you have on top of that. A lot of people will have a mortgage, reporting on credit, maybe an auto loan, maybe some student loans. That's all great, but revolving accounts, we recommend 3 to 5 accounts.
Folks, we're talking about credit score truths and myths. This is US Home Talk. Best way to get a hold of us anytime during the week is our website, ushometalk.com. We have all of our past shows, our partners, some fantastic real estate and mortgage resources. We've got a text line for questions during the show, 612-234-7585. If you have questions related to credit, financing, anything and everything real estate related, go ahead and text us those. You can also leave the questions in the comment section on Facebook and YouTube. Again, Jason Walgrave here with Mike Overson. We're talking about credit and the truths and myths. Next one, a higher truth or myth. A higher income equals a higher credit score.
Tricky one, Jason. Tricky.
It is tricky.
That's a myth.
That's a myth.
Is that right? Am I right?
That is correct.
You are good. Correct. I got it right. Income has nothing to do with credit score.
Right.
So just remember that income literally has 0 to do with your credit score. So if you want to use that as an argument or bring that into the conversation when it comes to credit, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Income doesn't affect credit score, and your worth, your net worth doesn't affect it. So for example, someone comes and says, hey, I got $2 million in the bank. Never had a credit card because I just don't use credit. I make a lot of money, but I don't have any loans or anything like that. They're not going to have a very good credit score because they have no history of credit usage, regardless of how much money they're making or how much money they have in the bank. A higher income does not equal a higher credit score. Credit scores and credit reports are the same.
Myth.
Truth or myth? Myth.
Myth.
Correct. Talks about the 3 big credit reports are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And then there's your FICO score. So the credit report is the full report of all the different lenders or creditors that you have accounts with and have had accounts with. And your credit score is simply the number. Depending on what type of loan you're inquiring for. You've got a mortgage on one hand, maybe you've got a car loan on another, maybe you've got a department store credit card on the third. They're all going to potentially use the different credit sources. What do banks usually use for mortgages, Mike?
So on mortgages, we have to pull a tri-merge, which means that we got to pull scores from the 3 main credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So what those companies do, right? Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, they collect data. So these banks and these lenders and things like that, any accounts that you open up, they collect data on those accounts. They aggregate that data, which means they put it on a report and they make it all in a nice, easy format to follow. And then they have their own credit scoring model. and they attach your credit score to it. So based on that information, here's what your credit score is. That's what gets reported on your credit report. So when we pull credit on our end, we see all three scores. Here's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. We use the middle score of the two. So we drop the high score, we drop the low score, we use the one that's left over. That's what you get to use there. Now, when it comes to FICO scores, there's 9 different versions of the FICO. So if you are applying for a mortgage, you're going to get FICO 9, I think it is. And it's weighted differently than if you're going to go for an auto loan. Because if you're going to go for an auto loan and apply for that, there's a different FICO algorithm, a different scoring model for that. And it's going to weight your score more on your auto payment history versus anything else. If you're looking to apply for a credit card, that particular version of the FICO is going to weight your score more on your credit card history than anything else.
So here's a question for you. You pull the three scores, right? You do what'd you call it? A tri-pull?
Tri-merge,
right? Score number 1 is 800.
Yep.
Score number 2 is 760. And then score number 3 is 520.
Yep.
Don't worry about the 520 or the 800.
We use the 760.
So regardless of what the other two are, you're using the middle.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And typically, if you're going to see scores that are off that far,
Yep.
right? So not every account that you open up reports to all 3 bureaus. Some banks and some lenders, for whatever, maybe to pull a boat loan from somewhere, some small local town bank or something like that, they might only report to one of the bureaus. So let's say you took a boat loan out from this bank, they only report to one of the bureaus and you defaulted on that thing, right? Late payments, and then it went back to the bank. They took it back, they repoed the boat and stuff like that. It's only showing up on one credit bureau. You're lucky that they only report to one credit bureau because that's only going to affect one score, right? So in your example, in this case, it's like, I got this 560 score over here because of that boat loan that defaulted and it got repoed, but it didn't report to the other 2 credit bureaus. So I still got an 800 and a 760 over here. I get to use my 760 score for my interest rate on my mortgage.
There you go. All right, folks, talking about credit score truce and miss. Debt settlement removes debt from your credit report.
No, it does not. So it might settle the debt to where it shows that you owe a 0 balance on that account. It does not remove the account and the history on that account from your credit report. Everyone can still see it.
Yep.
So, and it will still affect your score. So late payments, they say late payments will affect your score up to 3 years after it happened, right? The further a late payment goes back in history, the less and less points are deducted from your credit score for it. And eventually it's so old that it won't affect your score at all. There will be no points deducted for that late payment. But if you have a late payment from last month that just showed up last month, I mean, that one late payment, depending on what your credit profile looks like, it could drop your score 30, 40, 50, up to 60 points. And then as time goes on, the effect of that late payment gets less and less. And then once you're 3 years down the road, it typically is not affecting your score anymore.
Man, 3 years is a long time. So I think that's where, the credit monitoring is so important, especially if you have plans to utilize credit, and whether it's a mortgage or a car loan or, or student loan or any debt at all. So small mistakes happen, right? And maybe you didn't get the bill. Right. Maybe the mail didn't come, you didn't get the bill, and for whatever reason it got missed. I mean, things happen, right? Life happens. So keeping an eye on it is important. True or false? Oh, go ahead.
You still paying your bills through the mail, Jason? You still doing that?
Well, no, but
2024.
No, I do pay them all. Well, most of them online, like 95% of them. But I want to get them in the mail. So they always send me, paperless, select here for paperless. Well, I like to get the paper, so I still,
because that's your reminder. Like that's your reminder.
Yeah.
And then you get it in the mail. It's like, okay, so then you log online and you make your payment that way. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I gotcha. Okay.
Because I think I get like 300 emails a day. So it's probably more likely for me to miss an email than it is actual mail. Unless there's mailbox pirates, which there are sometimes. So you have to be careful with that too.
Evan, when's the last time that you mailed in a check to make a payment?
I quite literally cannot remember.
Okay. So you're living in 2024. Okay. Congratulations. Good job.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday,
No.
Jason.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I'm just curious. I didn't know if that was still a thing or not. So
No. I have done digital pay on like everything for ages. The only things that get mailed directly from my bank because I just do bill pay from my bank account.
gotcha.
Oh.
I don't
That's
even have checks right now.
Zero checks.
I do not have any. The last time, I don't know when it was, but the last time I actually had to write a check, I went to the bank to get temporary checks, like the one sheet, and paid the $3 because I do not need a checkbook. That's just a risk for someone to come into my house and be like, oh, cool, checks.
Yeah.
So
let's go buy
pass.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, true or false, Mr. Overson? Cash only payments will improve your credit.
Cash only payments will improve your credit. Unfortunately, that is a myth.
That is a myth. Yes.
Cash payments don't get reported by anyone to anything.
No.
It's like it never existed.
And
That's
remember,
why it doesn't affect your credit.
And remember, folks, it's called credit score, not cash score.
And for some people, I mean, we do have clients, right, that are all cash. I just don't,
Yep.
I don't use credit cards. I pay cash for everything, right? And that's all fine, right? That's your prerogative. You can certainly do that. It's gonna be a different story for you when you go to get a mortgage, because it is rated on credit, and you got to have some sort of credit. If you have no score, do we still have the ability to do a loan for someone with no score? We do. You still have the ability to do that. Down payment requirements are higher, and it's got to be like a single family home. It's got to be owner occupied. You can't do a duplex. You can't do an investment property. Like they build this box around you.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing that comes up is that the rate that you get on your loan is calculated by the lowest allowable credit score for that particular program.
Oof.
So if it's a conventional loan that you're going to do, you can still do it with no score. You're going to have to put at least 10% down. Has to be a single family, has to be a primary residence. We're going to rate your interest rate based on the 620 credit score because that's the lowest score allowed for a conventional loan. What does that mean in today's world? Top tier credit in today's world, 6.5, let's say on a 30-year fixed, 620, 7.5, 775, something like that.
That's a big jump.
Right?
That's a big jump.
So it can be done. Just know that there's going to be some adjustments made for that because we don't know if you can make payments on time. There's nothing out there that says that you can borrow money and make payments on time back to who you borrow it from. That's why you're getting hit with that.
Sure. Makes sense. True or false? This is a really good one. I think there's a big misconception on this one. Improve your credit score by closing your credit card accounts.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
That's a myth. Don't do it. Don't close those credit card accounts. Pay them down to zero. Let them sit there.
Mm-hmm.
Let them sit there with no activity. That's fine. Don't close those things. As soon as you close it, all that history goes away. So your score will actually
your credit score.
Your score will actually go down.
Yes.
By paying off and closing credit accounts.
Folks, we're talking about truth and myths of your credit score. Best time to get a hold of us during the week is our website, ushometalk.com. We've got a real estate hotline number set up at 612-234-7585. You can always comment in the comment section on Facebook and YouTube. You can catch us anytime during the week on all the streaming platforms. Connect with Mike, myself, Marcus, Evan, all of our fantastic partners. Be sure to check out our website, ushometalk.com. Couple more here, folks, to finish up talking about truth and myths of your credit score. Number 8, smart management of your various banking accounts will reflect in your credit score. Smart management of your various banking accounts, I'm talking about checking, savings, money market, will reflect in your credit score. True or false?
That is false. Yep. Bank accounts do not port on your credit report. So the activity in those checking and savings accounts that you have, that does not affect your credit one bit.
It does not. It does not. True or false? Dispute accurate but negative information will remove it from your credit report. So by disputing accurate, we just talked about one of the first things, that 80% of credit reports have something inaccurate on them. But let's say I got something that's accurate. I know it happened. It happened. I'm just going to dispute it and make it go away. Is that going to work?
You could dispute it. So just strictly disputing it doesn't do anything. That account will still show up there. What has to happen is if you dispute it, and if they deem that information to be inaccurate, incorrect, and they remove that information from your credit report, that's when you'll see a change in your score and your credit report. Correct. But simply the act of disputing something will not change anything for you.
Yep. That's right. That's right. There's a process. We work with Credit Life. They're one of the partners on the show. They do a phenomenal job with helping clients improve their credit. Maybe you want to get to that next tier of credit in order to have more options on your mortgage. So, all right, last one. Here we go. Talking about credit score truths and myths. Oh, we got Mike Walgraves a shout out. Says good stuff, educational, and you guys crack me up. I'm glad we're entertaining. I'm glad, you know what? That's important to me. So I think that's what he means. You crack me up, as that means we're entertaining, right?
Yeah, I'm going to take that as a positive. Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Last one. True or false? Missed payments that aren't reported to the credit bureau won't affect your credit score. True or false?
Missed payments that are not
reported to the credit bureau won't affect your. That's correct.
That's correct. I mean, if they're not reported, no one knows about them because they're not reported. It's not going to affect your credit score then.
What mama don't know won't hurt them.
That's right.
I love it. All right, folks.
You know, the only way that could possibly burn you is that if you're getting a mortgage and you have to verify certain activity on accounts. Happens every once in a while, not all the time, every once in a while, right? And so if we have to get some sort of, verification of last 12 months worth of payments, and now your banking records show that you made payments late. You made the payments, but they were 30 days late, 60 days late, whatever the case may be, even though that information might not be reporting on your credit report. If it shows up in the file somewhere, underwriting will use that against you. It'll be like, no, the program calls for you to have all installment payments in the last 12 months paid on time, and you have 2 of these installment payments over here in this one account that was clearly based on when your payment went out of your bank account that you were at least 30 days late, and then boom.
Well, the other thing that can happen, no more loan, at least not for a while. The other thing can happen, there might be a delay in the reporting of that late payment. And so, you might have had a late payment, but for whatever reason, the banking institute, they didn't report it right away. Maybe they didn't report it for 2 or 3 months. So you go in, you get approved, you get pre-approved, you get that house under contract, and back in your mind, you're like, man, I know I was late on that, but it didn't show up, so we should be good. And maybe they do, you guys do you do a credit, 14 days before closing, updated credit report?
Usually within 10 days, we have to do what's called a credit refresh. It's kind of like a soft poll. We just see if there's any other activity. Did you open up any accounts? Did you run your credit card balances up? So within 10 days of closing, we typically got to do one of those credit refreshes is what they're called.
Yep. So keep that in mind, folks. So, good show today. We appreciate you tuning in. Mortgage. Oh, here we go. Mortgage World is super exciting and not dry at all, right?
I mean, I tell you what, I got into this job for one thing, and that's the adrenaline rush that I get by doing home loans, baby.
Folks, we appreciate you tuning in today. This is Jason Walgrave, Mike Overson. We got Evan Little in the background doing the producing, the insurance. Marcus Walgrave will be back next week. Be sure to check out our website, MinnesotaHometalk.com. Our real estate hotline number is 612-234-7585. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next week.